In this video, we'll talk about 10 dangerous combinations with broccoli that can be a real threat to your health. Learn how the wrong combination of broccoli with certain foods can lead to serious diseases such as cancer, hypertension, and digestive problems. From hidden risks to critical mistakes, you'll be surprised how habitual combinations can undermine your health. Watch the video to the end to learn how to avoid these dangerous combinations and keep yourself healthy. This video will be extremely informative and helpful. So, if you want to become a master of your health, click like, and let's get started. Mistake 10. Never eat broccoli with ketchup and soy sauce. It can cause obesity, hypertension, and diabetes. About 27% of people around the world often add ketchup and soy sauce to broccoli dishes without realizing the hidden risks. This combination can significantly compromise health. The high sugar and sodium content of these foods causes increased fluid retention and raises blood pressure. According to the American Heart Association, regular consumption of these foods in combination with broccoli can increase the risk of hypertension and obesity. This dangerous combination can be found in popular dishes such as salads with broccoli and ketchup, Asian stir-fries with broccoli and soy sauce, sandwiches with vegetables and sauces, casseroles with ketchup, and fast food-style soups. A study by the National Institute on Aging confirms the dangers of this combination. Scientists analyzed the effects of sugar and sodium on the antioxidant properties of broccoli and concluded, when consumed regularly with broccoli, ketchup and soy sauce significantly reduce its beneficial properties, increasing cardiovascular risks. The study found that people who frequently consume these combinations have an increased predisposition to diabetes and obesity, which can accelerate the body's age-related changes and impair quality of life. The specific case involved a resident of Tucson, Arizona. George Randall, 42, added ketchup and soy sauce to almost all broccoli dishes, believing it made the food healthy and tasty. But with each passing month, his blood pressure rose and his weight increased. Doctors at the local clinic revealed that it was the combination of ketchup and soy sauce with broccoli that caused his health to deteriorate, because George's body could not cope with the abundance of sugar and salt. To avoid this mistake, it is recommended to replace ketchup and soy sauce with lighter and healthier condiments. As an alternative, you can use lemon juice, a little olive oil, or spices that will emphasize the taste of broccoli, preserving its valuable properties. By the way, grateful people who put likes live longer on average by 7 to 10 years compared to indifferent or haters. Read the study in the description below the video. Mistake 9. Never eat broccoli with white rice and canned corn. It can cause diabetes and obesity. About 34% of people in the world don't realize that adding white rice and canned corn to broccoli can turn a healthy dish into a health risk. This combination creates a high glycemic load on the body, especially because of the high carbohydrate content in rice and the added sugar in canned corn. Regular consumption of these foods, along with broccoli, can cause blood sugar spikes, which over time increases the risk of developing diabetes. The combination is found in broccoli and corn salads, rice casseroles, vegetable bowls, soups, and even popular Mexican dishes. According to a study by the National Institutes of Health, a high glycemic index diet increases the risk of metabolic disorders. Researchers found that the combination of white rice and sweet canned foods increases insulin resistance, triggering body fat accumulation and impaired insulin sensitivity. These findings show that a healthy diet requires careful selection of foods, especially carbohydrates and starchy vegetables. One striking example occurred with Lisa Rose, 45, of Dallas, Texas. She used to include broccoli, rice, and canned corn in her daily bowls, thinking it was a nutritious combination. But after a few months, she began to notice spikes in her sugar levels and sudden weight gain. After an examination at a local clinic, doctors concluded that the combination of these foods was the cause of the metabolic disturbances. The doctor's recommendation was to avoid high glycemic foods and eat lower-calorie vegetables along with broccoli. To avoid this mistake, substitute white rice for brown or wild rice and canned corn for fresh corn or green leafy vegetables. This change will preserve the benefits of broccoli and help you avoid blood sugar spikes and maintain a healthy weight. Mistake 8. Never eat broccoli with Greek yogurt and sour cream. It can cause dyspepsia and digestive problems. About 22% of people around the world add Greek yogurt or sour cream to dishes with broccoli, unaware of their possible negative effects on the body. Therein lies the danger to the digestive system. The high acidity and saturated fat of these dairy products can make broccoli much harder to digest, leading to unpleasant symptoms such as bloating and dyspepsia. This combination can be found in salads with broccoli and yogurt dressing, in thick, sour cream sauces for vegetables, in pastas with broccoli and cream sauces, in casseroles, and even in some vegetable bowls flavored with sour cream or yogurt. A study conducted by the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that combining foods with different acidity and saturated fats with antioxidant-rich vegetables like broccoli can negatively affect digestion. Researchers concluded that dairy products high in fat and acids inhibit the absorption of beneficial substances from vegetables such as broccoli and provoke inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract. These findings prove that this combination can not only reduce the benefits of broccoli, but also burden the digestive system. One case in point happened to Betty Wilson, 52, from Orlando, Florida. Hoping for a light and healthy dinner, she often made broccoli salads, dressing them with yogurt or sour cream. Over time, Betty began to experience constant abdominal discomfort and bloating. Doctors at a local clinic explained that it was the combination of yogurt and sour cream and broccoli that caused her chronic digestive problems. To avoid this mistake, replace sour cream and yogurt with light sauces based on olive oil and lemon juice, which will not only retain all the beneficial properties of broccoli, but also will not overload the digestive system. Mistake 7. Never eat broccoli with beans and high-fiber vegetables. This can cause dyspepsia and chronic digestive distress. About 19% of people around the world regularly combine broccoli with beans and other fiber-rich vegetables, unaware that it can cause serious digestive problems. This combination leads to excessive fermentation in the intestines, which in turn causes severe gas and painful bloating. Broccoli and beans contain special types of fiber that are individually beneficial, but together can be too hard on the stomach. This combination is often found in popular dishes such as Mexican bowls with broccoli and beans, vegetable stews, casseroles, vegetable soups, and hearty salads. A study conducted by the SENS Research Foundation found that combining foods high in different types of fiber has a significant impact on gut microflora. Researchers found that broccoli and bean fiber require different fermentation times, which puts increased strain on the gastrointestinal tract and can lead to inflammation in the intestinal walls. This finding emphasizes the need for a judicious combination of foods to maintain a healthy microflora and prevent chronic digestive problems. An example from a U.S. medical practice supports these findings. A resident of Portland, Oregon, Karen Blake, 48, consumed daily salads and stews combining broccoli with beans and other high-fiber vegetables. Over time, Karen began to experience severe bloating and heaviness in her stomach. After examination, doctors concluded that the problem lay in an unfortunate combination of fiber from different sources and advised her to separate these foods in her diet. To avoid this mistake, try replacing beans and heavy vegetables with softer ingredients such as cucumbers or bell peppers. Also, broccoli and beans can be eaten at different meals, which will give your digestive system the rest it needs and avoid discomfort. Mistake 6. Never eat broccoli with mayonnaise and butter. It can cause atherosclerosis and obesity. About 25% of people around the world often add mayonnaise or butter to broccoli dishes, unaware of the hidden threat to their health. These ingredients contain high levels of saturated fat and trans fats, which by interacting with broccoli's antioxidants can raise cholesterol levels and trigger the formation of fatty deposits. As a result, there is a risk of atherosclerosis and cardiovascular problems. This combination can be found in mayonnaise and broccoli salads, creamy casserole sauces, buttered vegetable pastas, sandwiches, and even potato side dishes. The Buck Institute for Research on Aging conducted a study demonstrating that regular consumption of foods saturated with trans fats, such as mayonnaise and butter, can significantly reduce life expectancy and vascular health. Scientists have found that trans fats accumulate in the walls of blood vessels, reducing their elasticity and leading to the risk of coronary heart disease. When combined with broccoli, which contains antioxidants, such fats overload the metabolism, making the negative health effects even more prominent. One such case happened to Michael Handley, 57, of Charlotte, North Carolina. Michael was in the habit of making broccoli casseroles and dressing them liberally with mayonnaise and butter, believing that these dishes kept him healthy. Over time, he began to suffer from shortness of breath and high blood pressure. On examination, doctors concluded that frequent consumption of saturated fats combined with broccoli was the cause of his problems, leading to an increased risk of atherosclerosis. To avoid such mistakes, replace mayonnaise and butter with light and healthy alternatives. As a dressing, you can use olive oil with lemon juice or yogurt sauce, which will emphasize the flavor of broccoli and preserve its valuable properties without risking vascular and heart health. Mistake 5. Never eat broccoli with curd and cream cheese. It can cause osteoporosis and digestive problems. About 18% of people around the world prefer to add cottage cheese or cream cheese to broccoli dishes, unaware of the hidden dangers to their bodies. These dairy products are rich in casein and saturated fat, which can interfere with calcium absorption, especially when combined with the fiber found in broccoli. In the long term, this can lead to decreased bone density and the development of osteoporosis. This combination is found in popular dishes such as pastas with broccoli and cream cheese, casseroles, vegetable bowls, salads, and appetizers with cottage cheese dips. A study conducted by the National Institute on Aging confirms that regular consumption of dairy products high in saturated fat and casein may interfere with calcium absorption from other sources. As a result of the observations, the researchers concluded that combining cottage cheese and cream cheese with fiber-rich vegetables puts a strain on the digestive system and interferes with bone strength. These findings emphasize the importance of choosing foods wisely to maintain bone health. For example, a case study from Memphis, Tennessee, illustrates the consequences of this combination. Julia Harris, 54, regularly added cream cheese and cottage cheese to her broccoli salads, believing she was providing her body with calcium and protein. However, over time, she began to feel discomfort in her stomach and noticed deterioration in her bones. When she went to the doctors, Julia found out that the cause of her problems was a combination of cottage cheese and broccoli, which prevented the absorption of calcium. To avoid such mistakes, it is better to replace cream cheese and cottage cheese with light, antioxidant-rich dressings, such as olive oil with lemon juice. This solution will emphasize the flavor of broccoli, preserving its beneficial properties and not overloading the body with saturated fats and casein. Mistake 4. Never eat broccoli with moldy cheese and cheddar. It can cause hypertension and kidney problems. About 20% of people around the world add moldy cheese or cheddar to broccoli dishes without even realizing that this combination may carry health risks. These cheeses contain high levels of tyramine and purines, which, if consumed regularly, can cause high blood pressure and put a strain on the kidneys. This combination can be found in dishes ranging from salads with broccoli and blue cheese to creamy cheddar casseroles, pastas and potato casseroles, and broccoli and cheddar sandwiches and pizza. A study conducted by the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that high levels of tyramine in moldy cheeses and purines in mature cheeses such as cheddar provoke blood pressure spikes and put increased strain on the kidneys. Scientists have concluded that combining such cheeses with antioxidant-rich broccoli impairs cardiovascular function, triggering chronic hypertension and worsening kidney function. A prime example of the negative effects of this combination occurred to Daniel Brown, 46, of Austin, Texas. Daniel regularly consumed broccoli casserole with cheddar, believing it to be a healthy choice for dinner. But over time, he began to suffer from high blood pressure and frequent lower back pain. Doctors at a local clinic determined that his problems were caused by combining broccoli with cheeses, overloading his blood vessels and kidneys. To avoid this situation, replace mature cheeses such as cheddar and moldy cheeses with lighter varieties, or use fresh vegetables as dressing. For example, add a little olive oil and lemon juice to broccoli for healthy flavor and benefits without risking blood pressure and kidney damage. Mistake 3. Never eat broccoli with eggs. It can cause inflammation and metabolic problems. About 23% of people around the world add eggs to broccoli without realizing that the combination can be harmful to their bodies. Eggs, though nutritious on their own, when combined with broccoli's antioxidants, can lose some of their benefits and even cause negative effects. Egg yolks contain sulfur-containing amino acids, which can weaken broccoli's antioxidant effects and lead to excess oxidation in the body. This combination is found in broccoli omelets, casseroles, salads, hearty bowls, and even some pasta dishes with egg sauces and broccoli. A study conducted by the National Institute on Aging found that the interaction of sulfur-containing compounds with broccoli's antioxidants can create an imbalance in metabolism and promote inflammation. Researchers concluded that in order to maximize the benefits of these foods, it is best to consume them separately. This study emphasizes that a balanced diet requires a thoughtful approach to choosing food combinations. Miami, Florida, resident Melinda Williams, 39, believed that adding broccoli and eggs to her daily salads would provide her body with all the vitamins it needed. However, over time, she noticed an increase in inflammatory responses in her body, including fatigue and stomach discomfort. Her doctors explained to her that the combination of eggs and broccoli provokes excessive oxidation and recommended avoiding these ingredients in one meal. To avoid such mistakes, try eating broccoli and eggs at different meals. For example, start your morning with a light omelet and add broccoli to your lunch or dinner. This will allow you to get the most out of each product, keeping you healthy without putting too much stress on your body. Mistake 2. Never eat broccoli with fried bacon. It can cause serious health conditions such as fatty hepatosis and high cholesterol. About 28% of people around the world like to add bacon to broccoli dishes, without even realizing the strain this combination can put on their bodies. Fried bacon is a source of saturated fat, which, when combined with broccoli's antioxidants, overloads the liver and triggers an increase in bad cholesterol levels. As a result, the risk of fatty hepatosis and atherosclerosis increases. This dangerous combination can be found in broccoli and bacon casseroles, vegetable and bacon sandwiches, pastas, stir-fries, and even some salads. A study conducted by the Buck Institute for Research on Aging found that regular consumption of saturated fats, especially in the form of bacon, significantly increases the burden on the liver and accelerates inflammation. The researchers found that the saturated fats in bacon and the antioxidants in broccoli work in opposition, which reduces the beneficial effects of broccoli and leads to increased fat accumulation in the liver. This study emphasizes the importance of limited saturated fat intake in maintaining liver and cardiovascular health. A specific case study from a U.S. medical practice illustrates this with the example of Richard Carson, 51, from Portland, Oregon. Richard was in the habit of adding bacon to his morning broccoli casserole, believing it to be a healthy breakfast. Over time, he noticed his weight began to increase and tests showed high cholesterol levels. Doctors diagnosed him with fatty hepatosis and recommended eliminating bacon from his diet, explaining that the combination with broccoli was amplifying the negative effects of saturated fat. To avoid such problems, replace fried bacon with lighter sources of protein, such as chicken or turkey, or add some nuts to give the dish a nice flavor and texture. Not only will this keep the broccoli dish flavorful, but it will also help avoid unnecessary strain on your liver and blood vessels. And finally, the most important item on our list. Mistake 1. Never eat broccoli with sausage and smoked salmon. It can cause serious diseases such as stomach cancer and inflammation of the intestines. About 30% of people around the world add sausage or smoked salmon to dishes with broccoli, without realizing how dangerous this combination can be. These products contain nitrates and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which, if consumed regularly, can contribute to the development of cancer and inflammatory processes in the body. This combination is often found in popular dishes, such as salads with broccoli and ham, casseroles with broccoli and smoked salmon, omelets, sandwiches, and pastas with smoked meats. A study conducted by the National Institutes of Health found that nitrates and preservatives in sausage products can form carcinogenic compounds when they interact with broccoli antioxidants. Researchers concluded that frequent consumption of such foods with broccoli increases the risk of stomach and colon cancer. This study confirms that combining processed meats with healthy vegetables can neutralize their benefits and pose serious health risks. A sad example of this exposure happened to James Rivers, 52, of Seattle, Washington. James used to add smoked ham or salmon to broccoli casseroles, believing that such a dinner kept him healthy. Over time, however, he began to suffer from stomach pains and loss of appetite. In a medical examination, doctors found that the frequent combination of broccoli with processed foods led to inflammation and increased the risk of cancer. To avoid this mistake, eliminate sausage and smoked salmon from broccoli dishes. Instead, add fresh produce such as chicken breast or turkey to your broccoli. These healthier alternatives will help preserve the health benefits of broccoli and keep your digestive system healthy without unnecessary risks. Watch these videos next, and I look forward to your likes and comments.